The unbroken, by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better, more waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Now standing by my window, I'm home, like a day. Oh, and the sun, ladders are rolling, Lord, carry my burden away. The circle, the unbroken, by and by, Lord, by and by. It's better, on the waiting, in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Lord, I told that undertaker, undertaker, please try so. For this body you are holding, Lord, I hate to see it go. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better, more fading in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I followed just behind her, tried to hold up and be brave, but I could not hide my sorrow when they laid her in the grave. Let the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better world waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. My home was lonely. Now my mother, she was gone. All my brothers and sisters crying, what a home so sad and alone. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better, more waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, choir, Rachel and Charles. And everyone, to Unity in the Seacoast, those are here with us, my faces, and it's on, right? Yeah. Okay. And it's the mic, I guess. And to all of you at home, we're so happy that you're with us this morning. It takes time to get ready and get up and have intention, and we appreciate that. So that was Barbara. I think most of us know her, but those of you at home, Barbara Whitney, our music director, who has been with us for quite a while. And one of the things I appreciate about her is she finds a way to do the solid Unity music, and there is a whole realm of that, which you can find on Unity Radio, a lot of artists. But she also song for the minister every week somehow dovetails it with the talk. So that's kind of a nice communion they have. At this time, if you would silence your phones here in the room, thank you, we'd appreciate that. And practice of ours is the daily word, which I have found a lifesaver in many ways, to start my day with the proper intention, not get all caught up in the kerfuffle we call the world. So for today, Sunday, August 7th, our daily word is release. Why don't we start by taking a deep breath and releasing all the little details of the kerfuffle out there. We're here, we're safe, we're comfortable, we're at peace. Releasing the past, I make room for the future. My life experiences have provided me with many gifts. From joyous to painful, I've taken something from each one, a nugget of wisdom, understanding, solace, that has helped me evolve into the person I am today. I'm always growing, always changing. With gratitude, I receive the blessings while letting the painful memories go. I have no room for regret, and I do not dwell on things that I have no power to change. As I release unwanted thoughts and unpleasant memories, I free myself to enjoy new experiences and create beautiful and lasting memories. With an uncluttered mind and an unburdened heart, I embrace the present moment and eagerly create my bright, beautiful future. And our scripture today is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 6. A time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to throw away. Again, the word is release, and our thought for the day is releasing the past, I make room for the future. I hope you carry that with you today. We have worked on a mission statement, and we have faith in action, I believe. This small community really works to fulfill that mission in our daily life, whether we're here, whether we're together, whether we're out in the community, whether we're family. So you should see it scrolling across the bottom, and our mission statement is to spiritual living, to awaken oneness with God within us all. It goes by kind of fast, but we do it every week, so maybe you can jot it down or go on our website and find it, and you'll have it. Speaking of our website, we do have a website, and we do work on it, trying to keep it current. And any of you that have a website know how hard that is. Things change so much and so quickly, and we are all volunteers basically, so we do the best we can to keep things current. Do go on there, check our calendar for events, check the writing that's on there. We have original writings from members and from Unity people, ministers, all kinds of people. There's a lot of information on there. There's more information about what is Unity. And you can also go to www.unity.org, which is the mother home of the whole place. We are international, and there's a lot of information there, such as you can get the daily word, you can get on your phone digitally, or you can order the book. You can get a daily email. There's Unity Radio, which has all kinds of really interesting podcasts and spiritual music. So that would be a fun thing to do, when you don't have anything else to do. I don't know when that is. And our donate button, obviously, is there too. And it's a pretty nice app. It's a Tidely. And so I have it. I use it on the church, but I also have it on my phone. So it's just a tap, tap, and you can do your thing and donate what you feel inspired you. And as part of donation I learned through Unity is time, talent, and treasure. So sometimes when we're not in the prosperity flow way of thinking, we can always remember that we do need your talent, whatever that might be. Maybe you would like to facilitate one Sunday. Maybe you would play an instrument. Maybe you'd like to read a poem. Whatever that would be, you can donate your talent and time. There's a lot to do to set up and break down after service and other community projects. So get a hold of us, and maybe you would like to be a volunteer. We do have a mailing address for those of us who use checks. And our mailing address is Unity of the Seacoast, McConnell Center, Suite 246, 61 Locust Street, Dover, New Hampshire, 03220. On the first Monday of every month, which was this past Monday night, Charlie Richard, who's also in the choir today, does a really nice meditation. It's brief. You don't have to put a lot of time to it. You just kind of calm down. It takes maybe 15, 20 minutes. And again, it's setting that intention for your evening and to find ways to grow within yourself, to make life more comfortable and more fun. So that would be the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. on our Facebook page. They're also archived, so you can go back and hear them when you wish to. They have different titles, as prosperity, your position in life. I can't remember them all, but you can go through them and you find one that, ooh, I could really use that right now. You can do that. We also broadcast to our YouTube channel. So for those of you who are familiar with YouTube, is there anybody who isn't? You can go on our YouTube channel and click. It's not the best organized, so it's not going to pop up first. It's not sequential, in other words. But you just scroll till you find the day's talk that you want to see. And I like that because when I'm home, I can watch it on TV. It's much bigger and I can see better and I can hear better. So, although I'm usually here now that we have a place. So, next weekend is a very special weekend for our community because Reverend Tom and his wife Casey will be at their son Bo and their daughter-in-law Katie B's wedding, which is such a happy event for everyone. The whole community here is so happy for you both. What that means, they won't be here though, so they'll be having a wonderful time and relaxed and not thinking about here, not worrying about how it's going to go. It's going to flow just fine. Not that we don't need you, but that day you're off. And so we have a guest minister streaming in. I love this. This is one of the things that we've done. Like Christmas Eve, we had, 4 different states as far away as Hawaii, Unity people streaming in and participating. And we really believe and we're really pushing the edge on collaboration instead of competition and unity. And people seem open to it. So next week, we'll be streaming in Reverend Linda Burdett. And I hope you will join us. It's fun to hear different takes on things. And I love Tom. He inspires me greatly. But it's nice to get another perspective now and then. Reverend Linda was recently ordained just in June of 2022, and first on Unity in 1997. She served in churches in San Diego, California, in several different roles. She served as program director for the Prayer Chaplain program for over 5 years and is the founder of a Place of Faith ministry. This ministry is dedicated to serving the needs of families who are integrating after recovery from issues of drugs, alcohol, addictions, and codependency. She created a vibrant support group that is held both live and on Facebook Messenger called Learning to Love Yourself. This group offers love, guidance, and support as we work through those blocks and issues that keep us from fully loving ourselves and therefore rob us of the ability to fully trust and love others. Reverend Linda served as a drug and alcohol counselor for 18 years. She's a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and now a great-grandmother, and has recently left California and moved to Kentucky. She currently spends her time between her Kentucky family and her Tennessee family. I hope you will watch next week. I think she has a lot to offer, and that is part of our mission statement, so hopefully we can learn from Linda and see how perhaps we can start some support programs here as well. And today also there will be fellowship after service. One of the things we do each week, and I love it because a number of us have been to other Unity churches in different states and different areas, and when you go, this is part of the service, so you feel at home no matter what. And that is namaste. It's a Sanskrit word, and it means, to me, the Christ in me, the teacher in me, the holiness in me, greets the Christ in you and acknowledges, respects, and loves the Christ in you. So we put our hands in prayer position, we look directly into someone's eyes, we see the Christ in them, and we say, Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
It just feels great. I love it. It's almost as good as a hug. about time for Barbara to get those keys going again.
Love and peace, the same way with your love and grace, the same day remain. Bring down all your loved ones, we shall meet again. Love and grace, the same day still remains. The love you place upon this earth is forever. The grace you shared when you were known as real. The beauty in your heart does not leave when you depart. You want to pray to love and share and feel. The love and grace, the same as still remains. Love and grace, the same as still remains. I grieve not for your loved ones, for we shall meet again. Love and grace, the same that still remains. In this life, there's a rhythm of every song. You give us with love, we will always know. That there's a life as above storm before. You descended to glory before. Love and grace, the same that still remains. Love and grace, the same that still remains. We not all your loved ones, we shall meet again. Love and grace, the same that still remains. Love and grace, the same that still remains.
Rachel, my Unity daughter, I gotta take a minute and explain. 20 years ago, we had a service here at Unity, and the minister at that time asked all of the older women who were willing to be a Unity mother to stand up. Of course, I stood up. And then he said to the young ladies who were looking for spiritual moms, please stand up. And this little girl came blasting at me. I think I had seen Rachel once. And that started, I have God lumps, because that started a relationship that has been, to me, miraculous, just miraculous. We've been prayer partners, we've been knitting partners. I was able to be at the birth of her children, and I'm their mime. And my husband and I have grandparented them all this time. And Rachel's just been a wonderful daughter. Her husband as well is like a son to me. So, I mean, what can you say about a community like that? We're family. So thank you. So proud of her. Love her. So this is the time where I introduce Reverend Tom again. Tom and his family have become like family to us. Here on Sundays, very inspirational. I work with them on Wednesdays in the office. But the families have gotten together at picnics and different things. And I just respect and love the whole family so much. I don't have a lot of family around here, so it's very important to me. And he continues to inspire me. That's impressive because I'm kind of old, but he does. So, Reverend Tom, what have you got for us today?
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I'm so happy to have a choir. I was talking about that this morning with Casey. And we just need that. I love that so much. So thank you guys so much. Just wonderful. And Barbara, bingo. Part of the theme of today's talk is how love and grace remains. It's part of the Lazarus story. And again, I put out a little vague thing of what my talks are about every week, and yet somehow she nails it. So this is awesome. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I had, as I often do, another talk in mind, but something stuck in my brain and I just couldn't let it go, so I had to work on it. And what stuck in my brain was the first principle. There is only one power and one presence in this universe, God the good and great omnipresence. Each week we talk about things related to this concept. God is causation, and all is created from that. We're spirit more than we're physical. And I certainly believe this, because if I didn't, I would just be a fraud up here each week. But then there's death. Does all this go out the window when we think of death? The physical ends and we see it as an ending, and it kind of is. But how do we look at it in a spiritual sense? Why do we assume that if we are all connected and we are all spirit, and that's the nurturing force of spirit, that it all ends upon death? Most religions have their idea of the afterlife, heaven. I could not relate to the concept that I was taught as a child, drifting up, sitting in some cloud somewhere beyond the stars. But maybe that's not so far off either. Maybe that's the release of spirit. But do our principles and our beliefs carry us when we think about death? We each have fear when it comes to thinking about this topic. I have fear, not as much of my own, but there's some, but I have fear of living without people that I love. I have a hard time watching a movie where the spouse dies. I have a fear of knowing when my time is up and wondering what it will be like. Will I linger? Will there be pain? Will there be suffering? I remember sitting with my brother. I had sat with him for months. He had died. It was June 1st, 2013, just before 11 a.m. We had taken him off life support the day before, and I was the only one in the room. This is one of my greatest gifts in life, and it was not one that I would have ever chose, but I was escorting him to the next phase. A week later, I was sitting with his mother-in-law as she passed and took her last breath. And like each of you, I have lost people in my life that I have loved. Each cause of death was different. My father was an unexpected heart attack. My brother ruptured his spleen, and because of years of alcohol and drug abuse, he could not overcome the infection. His mother-in-law was old age. She just started deteriorating. But at the same time, my brother got ill. And she was clear and lucid hours before she died. She was just ready to go. She told me so. My mother, my older sister, went from cancer. My younger sister from suicide. My father-in-law to emphysema. And Meme, my wife's first mother-in-law, my son's first grandmother. She just left us after watching the Red Sox game. But some of us have felt that way. But each passing is personal and individual. Each death has pain and understanding. I guess for me, suicide was the hardest because I got that feeling of what more could I have done. There is nothing more I could have done. Understand, suicide is not your fault. You did your best, and like every other form of death, this type of death happens. When someone passes, you think of the things that you wish you had said. But remember, you have said enough. When you carry people in your heart, silent words have already been spoken. Those unspoken words and the feelings you wish you convey, they have been said. They've been said in the expressions, the actions, the glances, the grace. You don't carry someone in your heart if those things have not been said. Of course, I've wondered if I had done enough for my brother or my mother. We all have these, but we live a life of love and we make decisions in love. And in love, all is said. We all want that one more time to tell them that we love them, to plan an end differently, to make one more moment that matters. But trust me, you have done and said all. They know it, and you know it. That's why they're in your heart. What a gift to know that these people have touched your heart in so many ways. My grandmother died 40 years ago. It's been 40 years since I held her hand, but I can still feel it. You know, we're not given a time frame to love anyone that comes into our lives. I have known people for minutes who have impacted me and other people for years. They leave an imprint upon us. And each imprint is a gift that we're given. It's a gift to recognize love in others. When someone passes, that love is measured by grief. Grief hurts. But at the same time, it tells us how much that we've loved. Grief is a necessary suffering. I don't like that it's so, but it reminds us not to take anyone or any moment for granted. The best compliment I ever received after a talk was from an elderly gentleman. He thanked me for showing him it was okay to cry when he thinks about his wife. And when he finished telling me this, he spent a few minutes telling me the stories about her that made him smile. And I remember thinking what an honor it was for me that he felt safe enough with me to share. When Jesus was told of his friend Lazarus' death, it is said he wept. That is the shortest line in the Bible. It does not need to be long any longer. We grasp the emotion. It's telling us it is okay to weep. It is okay to grieve. I love my mom, my grandparents, my father-in-law, my siblings, my brother. I weep at times, and I still do. Jesus wept. And then he turned his attention to his friend Lazarus. And Lazarus rose. When someone passes, we weep. It's okay. It's okay to cry, to acknowledge the hurt. But at some point, the grief begins to ease so much that we can turn our attention to them and raise them. The physical is gone, but then the spirit of them reappears. We begin to see things that remind us of them. We hear their voices, their wisdoms. We see sights. Go, oh, they would love that, or a joke here or there. The shared memories become forged with new memories. And I sit with my mom every year during the Red Sox season. She passed in the spring of 2004. She sat with me that whole 04 season up to the point that we won the World Series. I feel my brother so often when an odd joke pops into my head or I fix something. I feel my younger sister Donna when I am a goof for no apparent reason. And trust me, that happens a lot. It's important for us to take the time to acknowledge our love and our loss. You have these memories. That's one of the connections. They're not there for pain. They are there they're there for us to remember the joy. It's okay to acknowledge the feeling of hurt, but let it go when it becomes hard. When they come up upon you, let them pass. Tell them that if you need them, you can catch up. The memories of others who have gone are there to enhance your life. That's their purpose. And allow them to live up to their purpose. I invite you to understand that those who have gone before you want you to have joy. They want you to create new memories. That's what loving people do. That's their legacy. You get to be bathed in their love. There is no permanence in life. The people who sat at my table when I was young are not the same people who sit at my table when I am older. When I was young, I had 7 people at my table. There's only one left. But there are new people at my table every year. 2 Samuel, chapter 18, verse 33. The king was deeply moved, and he went up to the chamber, over the gate, and he wept. And thus he said as he walked, "Oh, my son Absalom, my son Absalom, I would have died instead of you. Oh, Absalom, my son, my son." There is mourning. And it's fitting that Jesus addressed mourning in the Beatitudes. Matthew 5, verse 4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. We find comfort in the stories and the memories. December 6, 1981, I did a tour of the Pearl Harbor Museum in Honolulu. And I sat next to a survivor who had gone out the day before the festivities so he could have a moment of silence with all those that he knew. And for some reason, he took an interest in me. And at times, he held my hand as we walked around. We looked over the side at the shell of the Arizona oil still coming up from below after 40 years. And then he held my hand as we walked to the walls where all the names were. With his other hand, he touched the names of his friends. And he told me stories. And this man has lived in my heart for over 40 years. Your stories of the ones you love get carried by you, and you get to share them. We are comforted in the memories, the building of that resurrected spirit and that new relationship. Take time to think of these people. Commit to smiling at the good memories. Try not to sabotage those memories by casting them into a dark chasm of sadness. They're not made for that. They were made in love. When sadness comes upon you, take 2 fingers, touch your lips, and give a kiss to them. Salute those memories and those people for being a part of your life. Joy and grief seem like they're not something that's meant to walk hand in hand. It can seem like a paradox. But grief is that tool that allows us to know how much that we love. Grief is an unwanted tool, but at some point we will all feel that. And a life well led will mean you'll feel grief many times. But within grief, there is love. There is wisdom. And in love and wisdom, there is joy that can be felt. With love, we feel the depth of a person. We can hear their words and we can see their faces. We can connect to so many things about them. And often at times, it's unexpected. And it may seem hard to overcome, but soon wisdom enters. And we realize they just wanted joy for us. They want their legacy to be a one of love, the type of love that enables each one of us to live a fulfilled life, because they are part of that fulfillment. Can we prepare for our death or another death? I don't like to think about it in that sense, because if I'm living, I don't feel like I want death to be part of me, like I'm not living in the moment. But we prepare for death by the way that we live and in our beliefs. The best life for ourselves, to the benefit of others, and to the world around us. We live the best life we can. We live a life of wholeness. That is what our legacy will be based upon. And that's what others facing their own struggles will see in you. And then you can be of service to those people. There's a part in the book, The Four Agreements, that says, be impeccable with your words. Give your best self in as many ways as possible with all that you come into contact with. I've ups and downs with people in my life who've passed, but I feel comfortable that nothing was left unsaid or unfelt. When I was young, I was a teen, I'd gone to Florida to visit my brother. My father had called, and we chatted, and I said goodbye. And my wife's girlfriend at the time, Marilyn, said, you didn't tell him you loved him. I said, yeah, he knows. And she said, you never know when it will be the last time that you speak to him. That stuck in my head, that I end every conversation with someone with, I love you. I tell people always I love them. A week before my father died, he called. We had an argument. But I ended it with, I love you, Dad. And a week later, he was gone. But I had comfort in that. And after he died, I didn't know how, but I knew some way I would run into Marilyn again to thank her. The night my brother passed, my brother's family and I had gone to a restaurant to have dinner and celebrate his life. This lady walked up to me and she goes, John? I said, no, John's my brother. She goes, Tom? Tom, it's me, Marilyn. I got to thank her the night my brother died. I reminded of her words. And for me, there's two lessons there. The first lesson is you never know where a pearl will show up in your life. So be aware of the wisdoms that come across your path. And second, words matter. You can say an offhanded comment to someone that hurts, and they may carry it with you. But conversely, you can say a kind compliment that can change someone's day. And perhaps they carry that kindness forever. It could be anything. Last spring, my wife and I, we were walking through Whole Foods. Many of you know this story. My wife, if you ever see her smile, has a great smile. But this guy walked by her and said, thank you for your smile. And that just changed our direction. We will carry it with us forever. And boy, her smile multiplied so much. You can inject love and compassion into as many moments as possible. We only get a limited time with anyone. So say as much as possible with love as you can. And then there's nothing left but love. Each person who's passed, I've never thought, I wish I could have said this. I cannot control the way their life ended, and I miss them. But there is comfort in my memories. My aunt lived in England. We did not see each other much. It may have been 17 years before I saw her last. But we mailed and emailed each other so much that nothing was left unsaid. Now, I'm more comfortable at home than going out to visit people, but my love for people is not less. Now, have you noticed that the love of this is the theme of this talk? Because we are the image of God, which is love and wisdom. And if we believe that love is the force in which all is created and expands, then we deal with death with love. I have faith in all the principles that I live by, and all that was created, that those principles all will be there in death and beyond. Does it look like after? I have my thoughts. I have things that give me comfort. I had my moment of passing away on the operating table. I felt those who had passed before me in full love. I can identify each one to my left side in order, and on my right, I felt the energy of those who were praying for me. Now, everyone can be a skeptical and say you were on anesthesia and you're out of it, and that's fair enough. But it was so clear and present for me that I find comfort in that. So what do you take away from this? Well, we live by certain thoughts. We accept that something greater than us is working here, and that we are co-creating our existence with that. We believe that this great causation has been working since the beginning of all. And we believe it will always be and always continue. And if that's so, then we must let go of this finality of death and believe that those things will continue to work and to connect us after the physical body ends. I don't know what happens after. I have faith enough to know, though, that something continues. And I personally believe our existence is outside the physical body, that our perfection lies in spirit. The body processes, but we exist in our energy. And I believe that does not end. I met a lady at a Unity convention who said she had lived this life over and over again. And after talking with her for some time, I believe she was right for her. I don't know what everyone's personal is, but for her, she was right. She had clear memories of all her moments in life. And she was clear and present and kind. And I felt comfort in talking with her. But what I took away most from her is something that I always believe in. Unity holds dear. That the point of power is always now. In other words, our actions, our thoughts in each new moment determine our life and our happiness. No matter what life offers, we have this opportunity to live in each moment. So we can dwell on death, what it will be, how it will impact us. But ultimately, we only get the moment that we're living in and what we do in each moment. We are responsible for our actions and our reactions. I can't say that death won't be feared or the loss of someone won't hurt. But it's up to us to live our life to the fullest, to make the most out of life. This includes even after someone passes. Because they want you to be your fullest, happiest self. So live up to that and don't let their death or another death diminish that. And my words may fade. If I'm lucky, you'll carry this talk for a day or so. But take away this. Live your life in as many moments as possible. It's not about the big moments. It's about love and wisdom in all the moments. Death comes to us all. But if we have our beliefs and trust in them, I'd like to turn this to a meditation.
I surrender all, my heart, my soul, my love. Catch me when I fall. I surrender all. I surrender all. I surrender all. My heart, my soul, my love. Catch me when I fall. I surrender all. I surrender all.
Thank you, Lord. Wow. Go with that. I surrender all. So I'm going to ask everyone to get comfortable, your feet relaxed, palms up, if that's comfortable for you. Taking a deep breath. And let it go. And develop your own comfortable breathing pattern. You'll know you've hit it because you feel your shoulders will start to drop. Your head will seem heavy, your spine will seem a little loose. I'm going to invite you to think about the thought, I surrender to all. We each have necessary emotions. Grief, fear, worry, even pain. They're there to tell us that there is something that we need to be aware of. But surrendering doesn't mean that we have to dwell in those. I invite each one of us to acknowledge and be comfortable with these emotions. They do not lessen us. But we get to release the power they hold over us. We release by knowing that every emotion we have, we are born from and into perfection. We connect with that perfection. In our kingdom of heaven. Our Christ-like nature. Our God within. We accept every emotion we have. as Jesus taught us and accepted every emotion that he had. Tears, fear, anger, to love and wisdom. We acknowledge that there is one power, one presence in the universe working through me. God the good and great, omnipresence. And so it is. I invite you back. We take this moment to share the best of us with the best of our world. At any given moment, there are those in your life who are fighting a battle. That they're brave to fight. They may not appear brave, but each person has something. And for those who aren't, they have the ability to share. So if you're thinking of anyone, and if you're at home, and you're thinking of someone, type their name in the comment box. If you're not comfortable typing their name, their initials. And if not, just a heart emoji. And each week, we have our prayer box, and we have our prayer list. Names are added to the prayer box, names are added to our prayer list. If you don't get that, email us, and we'll make sure that you're on the prayer list. And we take those prayers, and we send them to Silent Unity, and we send them to the Mother Church, and we pray over them. We pray them several times a week. And then they get prayed for another 30 days at Unity. You know, I mentioned that story where I felt people praying for me when I was in the hospital. One of the ladies who prayed, and I've told this story many times, was a lady I hadn't spoken to in years. She had just overheard that I was in the hospital. And after I came out of it, I sent her a message, or she had sent me a message saying, "Tom, I prayed for you." Yeah, I know, I felt it. It does work. You don't have to be in contact with the person. But if you have the ability, when you pray for someone, send them a message, call them up, say, "Hey, I was thinking of you today. I love you. You mean something to me. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your smile." The fastest way to make a prayer land is to let the person know. So we affirm their wholeness, their health, their wealth, their abundance. We see their perfection in them as they see ours. We hold them in their high spot. We also do another prayer, and I'm going to ask for a volunteer here to do a little wander around the collection plate.
So now you close your eyes like a flower deep eternal sleep. Peaceful continences once more kiss your cheek. The battle is over, fall is here, flinging my leaves. Is this how your story ends? So hard to believe. The skies are clear, and the storms have passed. I know that finally see you there at last. Another day without you, night falls, a blanket merging with the sky. Darkness I stand, searching for the light. Lost in thought, hopeless wonder, creeping slowly through air. Oh, for the miles we lose our witnesses, precious watchers, those who care. So I have to question what really matters in this life. When you fill me up, when the twilight fades, leaves me mystified. The skies are clear, and the storms have passed. I know that finally see you there at last. Another day without you, night falls, a blanket merging with the sky. In darkness I stand, searching for the light. In darkness I stand, searching for the light.
At this point, we do a prayer of tithes and offerings. So I ask each one of you to take your right hand, place it over your heart, and repeat as me. You are with me, not as me. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. And I would like to finish this with a prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are richly blessed. Amen. Thank you. And if you can join us for our final song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant in oneness all are we. In love we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, this truth is my joy is found. To live each moment in love, each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth.